What is up, guys? It's Tom from Tech Time, and today we're talking about the LG V30. This is my final farewell to the LG V30. It is now leaving the channel for good, and it's been a mixed love-hate relationship, so let's get into it. So when I first heard about the LG V30 coming out, I was super excited. When the LG V30 was coming out, they hyped it up like it was going to be something incredible, something you couldn't resist, something you needed to pick up. Now, coming from last year, the V20, I was so excited. I figured, hey, if it's a great improvement from the V20, it's going to be a knock out of the park, complete home run. And then some leaks came out and stuff, and I was a little bit disappointed because it seemed like they were going with the norm, following the trend. That's not exactly what I wanted to see. When the V series first came out, it was almost in competition with the Note, released around the same time, and it was a powerhouse media, content creating phone. You had the V series, was rugged, but it had all the bells and whistles. The first original V10 had stainless steel sides on it, and it also had a self-healing, like rubbery back that was incredible in my opinion. I liked it a lot. Obviously, it didn't, stick, so they moved on from that design. The next year, they came out with the V20, which was all metal, beautiful IPS 5.7-inch front screen with a second screen, just like the V10. Both had second screens, and that was really the shining thing for the V series that separated them from everybody else. They had a second screen on the top that you could access apps, control your music, your flashlight, screen capture, a bunch of things right on that second screen. And it was really incredible, completely useful. I liked it. Maybe a little tall for some people to reach, but for me, it was no issue. I liked it a lot, and that's what separated them from other companies. So the V30, here we are. You get a phone that looks like every other phone out there. It is now glass back. Yes, you have wireless charging, but you don't have a removable battery anymore. Me personally, I would rather have a removable battery that you could slap in a fully charged battery in less than 5 seconds, and then you have a full charged battery. You're not getting that with wirelessly charged. It's not doing it. Wirelessly charging is nice, but it's not even on the same level as plugging your phone in. LG does not incorporate fast wireless charging like Samsung does, so you're just getting a regular charge, slow charge from the wireless charging. To me, I could live without it. I'd rather have the metal back, completely rugged phone, and removable battery. Why not stick with what V series was all about? The roots of the V series was rugged, and it had all the bells and whistles to create content. You can bring the thing out with you anywhere. You're going on a hike, you're gonna have dual cameras that are highly capable, can do exactly what you need to do, wide angle, and if you drop the phone, it's metal, you're probably not gonna have an issue. Now you got a dual glass on glass phone with aluminum sides, and you're just like every other phone. There's nothing differentiating you, and then they took away the second screen. Why they did that is beyond me. They added something that they call a floating bar, and you can also access some of your stuff from your always on display. To me, it doesn't cut it. I like the second screen. It separated them, like I said, from the G series that they already put out, the G6 and the V30. Really not too much of a difference. To me, this is almost like a G7 or a G6 Plus. It's just an upgraded version of a G series phone. It doesn't have that differentiating characteristics of the G line anymore. So you're just another run-of-the-mill phone. So now what's gonna separate it? Okay, they have a glass lens on the camera with a 1.6 aperture. So that's gonna separate them from the bunch because the camera is still super capable and it's gonna be able to take great photos in low light and great video. Big bummer, didn't end up working out. So let's get into all that right now. In terms of the design, this phone, I really do like the size of it. The size at 6-inch screen, it fits nice in the hand, it's wide, it's not narrow like the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus. They're almost like remote controller like. This is wide, it fits in the hand perfectly. It feels almost like a design of a 16:9 aspect ratio phone, but this is 18:9, 2:1, and it's a nice fit, it really is. It fits well, the curves are nice, everything's nice about it. So in terms of that, I like it a lot. It's got no second screen, so that was a bummer for me. But for some people, they say they don't bother. It doesn't bother them. Okay, Mr. Removable Battery, I've already mentioned that. Hey, you gotta deal with what you can get. What you do get on this is pretty good battery life. For phones with a battery size in this size, from 3,000 milliamp hours up to 3,500 milliamp hours, this has given me some of the best battery life. I've got an average of 5.5 to 6 hours and 45 minutes of screen on time sometimes. Screen on time is not the tell-all for screen time, I mean for battery life, but it does give you somewhat of a benchmark to go off of. So I get pretty good battery life on this, and I run my phones hard. I have a ton of apps. I'm always multitasking, media content, taking pictures, videos, stuff like that, editing videos on these things. So I do run them hard, and in that aspect, battery, it's gone good. Let's get into the software. I do not think this phone is optimized well. I think it could definitely use 6 gigabytes of RAM. You notice even with Samsung, LG and Samsung, they put pretty heavy skins. They kind of throw everything but the kitchen sink at these phones, so you have every feature, and they really pertain to anybody because you can pick up one of these phones and find a feature that you do like because it has every feature that you can ask for, almost. So with this one right here, it needed 6 gigabytes of RAM, in my opinion. It just wasn't optimized well. The skin is super heavy, and it just needed a little extra, and it didn't have that. I've had a lot of issues with this phone. I've had to factory reset it probably 3 times. I've had shutdowns, forced closing on the apps, just a lot of issues. My camera app, when I go to open the camera app, sometimes it can take 10 seconds. It picks it up, it opens up, and then it just freezes like it's capturing light. I really don't know what's going on, but it's screwed up, and it's really made me almost hate this phone sometimes. Sometimes I want to throw it through a wall. Because it's not a metal back anymore, I'll completely destroy it, so I haven't done that. The auto brightness on this part of the software doesn't work well. When you go into dark areas, it drops down to 0%, and then it kind of sputters back and forth, so you kind of get like some screen flicker. I don't know if anybody else has had that. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have had issues with that, but I've had issues with this one and the other one that I had, so to me that's a problem. So I always have to, in low light, take it off of auto brightness and bring it up a little bit, and it's always super dark. It doesn't give you much to look for. In terms of the screen itself, whoop, I almost dropped it. In terms of the screen itself, it is a pretty nice screen. It's their POLED, first time they've come out with this in a phone in a while, so they have IPS LCDs usually. This one's a POLED, and it is nice. It gives nice colors, everything's nice, saturation's great, color reproduction seems great. It's just the screen brightness out in direct sunlight is not the best for me, and then the auto brightness, that software could use some help. Like I said, it got great battery life. Let's get into the dual cameras. LG does a great implementation of dual cameras. They do a regular lens with a wide angle lens, and they've been doing that since the V series phone, V10, and that's really been their staple on their phones. You're getting a great wide angle. And this year is probably one of the better wide angles that they put on it. You don't get too much of a fisheye distortion looking with it anymore. It's really nice. It's great if you're out taking landscape photography. You can get so much of the landscape in there. If you're doing architecture inside a city, if I'm in Boston, I can take a picture and I can get the whole building, where with a regular angle, I would have to either back up crazy far, or I would have to just cut some of the building out, which is unfortunate. With the wide angle, you can pick that up. So that is great to have that on your phone at all times and not have to worry about, missing a shot because you don't have a wide enough lens. The main sensor on this thing, in my opinion, is just not up to par with other phones of this price range. Is it a capable camera? Yes. Can it take nice photos? Yes. Does it take nice photos all the time? No. In auto mode, does it have issues? Yes. Takes a long time to focus. It almost second guesses itself after you hit the shutter button. It almost hesitates before it takes the picture. Had problems with it always saving to my memory card or even the internal device storage. It just saves. It got a little spinny bar that says saving. I don't know why. I've turned HDR mode on. I've turned HDR mode off, and I've had that issue. Don't have that issue with any of my other phones, and I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. I've looked on forums, really haven't seen much about it, but that bothers me because it stops me from being able to take multiple pictures in a row because it ends up like buffering almost, and you shouldn't have that issue with a phone like this. At this price range, Snapdragon 845 should be capable to do exactly what it needs to do. The f1.6 aperture, in theory, it's going to bring in a lot more light, and you're going to get better low light photography. Doesn't equate to that in the real world. The sensor size is too small on this, so it does not bring in enough light. So it's always overcompensating with the ISO, and you're getting distortion, and you're getting grainy photos. And to me, it just hasn't been what I expected it to. With the glass lens and the f1.6 aperture that they spoke about, you expected great low light photography. And I've gotten better on my Samsung, I've gotten better on other phones. The iPhone 8 Plus takes a lot better photos in low light, and this just doesn't compete with the top level, in my opinion. So that is the biggest disappointment for me, was the cameras on this. Like I said, the wide angle's great. The regular camera is just not been up to par. And the front camera, forget about it. The front camera should not even be on a phone sub of $200, because there's phones that are $200 or even $100 that have a better front-facing camera on this than this phone. It's really incredible. The problem is, I don't know why they skimped out on the hardware, but they used to put an 8-megapixel camera in their phones, and then all of a sudden they dropped down to this 5-megapixel crap, and they've continued with it and just keep kind of running with the same hardware for the front camera. Hey, and if you're gonna boast yourself as being the ultimate content creation phone, great for vlogs, this is not it. You're gonna have to use a rear camera for vlogs, and that's not exactly, you know, great, because you wanna be able to see yourself on the screen, make sure everything's in focus, and this just doesn't do it for you. It's trash. 5-megapixel is junk. It's not even a good 5-megapixel camera. It's just crap. It's just junk. Back to the rear regular camera. They know they have issues. They just released, or they're releasing today, it's going to be unveiled at NWC, is the LG V30 S Think. And Think is spelled with a Q at the end, and that is their version of AI stuff. I think they have wash machines, maybe their TV, stuff like that. That's their AI products, maybe some speakers. They have a bunch of stuff like that. So they're implementing that into the new LG V30. I think they're giving it more RAM and more onboard storage, which is fine if you want to, you know, rebrand your phone. But they're also allowing the software to help out with low light. If this phone took great low light photos already, they wouldn't be implementing this into the phone. This wouldn't be a major selling point. It's a major selling point because this phone does not take great low light photos. So now they're pushing out this new version, expecting people, I don't know, maybe to upgrade from this to that, which is crazy. They should have updated this software-wise and got this running the way it should be. Support your customers instead of releasing a new version of the phone. I understand they're going with a new, you know, avenue, and they're not gonna release phones every year, like so they say. So they're gonna, you know, upgrade the same models and stuff like that. That's fine. But this phone has not been out long enough to just abandon it and pick up on a new version of this phone. They need to upgrade this phone itself, and they're not doing that so far. Maybe after that sells a little bit, they'll implement some of this stuff on here. It also has AI similar to what the Huawei Mate 10 and Mate 10 Pro does, where if you take a picture and it's a person, it will register it as a person. It will change some of the algorithms of the photo and stuff like that to get you the right photo for taking a portrait of a person. Or if you're taking a picture of a flower or some plants or something, it will register like that. And it's supposed to be able to bring up some similar images, similar to what you got on this Bixby Vision. Really doesn't work that well on Samsung's. We'll see how well it works on the LG V30 S Think, or whatever the hell they're gonna call it. I think that's just a slap in the face for people that bought the V30 and wanted great low light photos. Now you're gonna make a new version. It doesn't seem like the right thing to do. They should implement a software update for this phone, and they have not done that. They probably will not. So I'm disappointed with it. That's really all I have to say about it, guys. I just wanted to give you a final review of the LG V30 and let you know how I made out with it. I dropped videos on my review saying I did not like it. A lot of people said I was crazy. But I've noticed as time has worn on, more and more people have the same idea I have or had about the V30. It's just not capable camera-wise and optimized well software-wise. It has crashes, it has lag, and it shouldn't have. They should have done a better job with this, pushing this phone out. And they really should have stuck with the roots. Keep the second screen, put it down on the bottom if you want to be different. They should have kept the removable battery. Don't just jump on the trends. Be different. This could be the only phone with removable battery at a flagship level right now, and that would get you people just because of that. But they wanted to conform with what everybody else is doing, and in my opinion, it's a complete dud. So you will not see the V30 after today on this channel. I am done with it, and maybe done with LG for a little while. All in all, the G7 probably won't be released till June, they're saying now, and hopefully they do, bring it back to the drawing board like they said and really push out an unbelievable phone. but I'll believe it when I see it. I feel like we'll get similar hardware to what you got in this phone right here, the same setup and cameras, and they'll try to, you know, maybe add that little AI crap in and call it a new phone. We'll see what happens, guys. Hope you like this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you have the V30. What do you think about the V30? Do you guys like it? And what do you think about the new V30S Think? Do you think that's a slap in the face to you as a customer that have a half-baked phone right now and they're pushing out a new one that's seeming to tidy up all the software issues? Does that piss you off? Because for me it does. At $800 when this phone dropped, now you get a new version of the phone that should be running the way that this phone ran. I don't know. Let me know, guys. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.